climate change crisis can generate a sense of urgency because it's always pitched in the mainstream as something that could affect this way of life as it's understood today by so many people. And in the educational system, because this way of life is given such a positive portrayal, that people only find out later how it became possible for them and their families in the first place through, stealing land, trafficking of humans, through all sorts of abuses and violence, through patriarchy. They find that out, and it's like, okay, instead of sort of trying to burst the entire bubble, they try to figure out how to repair it. So let's try to keep with this particular way of life, but just repair the inequities or the injustices that are associated with it, or that founded it. And if we can just repair those injustices, and if we can lower the carbon footprints, then it'll be all good, right? We can still maintain that sense of meaning, that sense of a way of life. And that creates an incentive for some people to either be like a big hero, or just to know that they're a hero, in their own right, because what they're trying to do is do whatever it takes to understand that they are not related in any way to the things that happened in the past. They want to maintain that separation, that who they are today is not related to the violence of the past. It's not related to the colonialism and the trafficking of the past. And that all they are people that are doing what any reasonable person would do to end the injustices and lower carbon footprints. And so they want to feel empowered to understand themselves as being a protector of this way of life. And that way of thinking is tremendously toxic to allyship and coalition with other groups, because for us, we're not trying to preserve a false conception of the meaning of some industrial way of life. We're not trying to preserve that. We're trying to burst that bubble, and we're trying to open up to the idea that there are many, many diverse ways of understanding our world, and to actually being honest about the history, the real history that took place. And we recognize that many of our ancestors, their names are not known. They made sacrifices to protect our communities, and their names are not known. They're not remembered as heroes. And I don't know what they thought of themselves at the time, but they did everything they could to protect the future generations so that we could continue to survive and to live. And that really isn't about heroics, right? It's not, it was about a sense of community, a sense of care for each other, a sense of reciprocity. And so for us, I think we want to be serious about kinship, because when the climate change issues continue each year, and it becomes harder and harder to subsist and flourish, and where there's further economic, political issues affecting our cultures, it's not going to be at that point about only lowering carbon footprint. It's going to be about whether we have relationships across different cultures and different societies that are going to allow us to work together to face extreme dangers without some people exploiting others, and without some people building on their privilege and exploiting others to protect the way of life that they assume to be the true one. But it's really not the true one. It's just one that they've been built up to believe is the only way to understand one's life and one's position in the world.